This podcast is part of the Blueberry Network, where listeners and podcasters come together. Find out more at blueberrywithnoease.com.
The Eat Sleep Write podcast is brought to you by generous grant from the Built on Dreams Media Network, with additional funding by the Sims Media Foundation, and from the generosity of listeners like you.
Stand by, please. Rolling on 6. On set.
Welcome to Lessons on the Writer's Voice. Gain trusted advice and perspective from writers featured on Eat Sleep Write. Use every moment you can learning the craft of writing by listening while on the go, in your car, at the gym, or while you're on break at work. Eat Sleep Write is here to help you become the writer you've dreamed of being. Eat Sleep Write is also brought to you by the generous cooperation of Writers World's Facebook group. Join Writers World on Facebook, a solicitation-free group for writers of fiction, nonfiction, and poetry. A writing group that concentrates on critiques of posted material. Four Writing Nuggets by Randall Andrews. Read by Adam Scull. Writing Nugget number 1. If I had one nugget to keep in the back of your head as you are composing a story, it is to realize nouns and verbs should make up the bulk of your story. Adverbs and adjectives should be minimal. Samuel Clemens said it best: employ a simple and straightforward style. Writing nugget number 2. I've given a lot of lessons on the 3-act concept, trying to simplify it to know your ending and follow it. I was reminded of a simple lesson I was given a few years back. I was asked to tell what my story was about in a single sentence, which I've asked many of you in the Writers World Facebook group to do as well. However, this advice went a little further. This advice was to tell my story in a short story version, a really short story version. The particular story we were boarding was a love story. When I stripped everything down, what I came up with was this. The woman antagonist or protagonist had this to say to her boyfriend: I will never stop loving you. The male protagonist responded, and I will never start loving you. We chose early on that the message was, don't chase people who don't want you. The question was, can you make someone love you? The answer for our script was no. As you can tell from the description of our female character, she becomes the antagonist in the story. Knowing this simple stripped-down version of A to Z allowed us to whip this out pretty quickly. Hopefully, this will help anyone having issues with how to get past that second act. Writing nugget number 3. Don't start your novels with a dream. Readers look in instantly. If you start with a dream, unbeknownst to the reader, you rip them away from believability when they come out. We gear ourselves immediately that what we are reading is the reality of the story. Writing nugget number 4. Who versus whom? Whom is for the object, who is for the subject. To learn more about author Randall Andrews, be sure to read his interview at eatsleepwrite.net/AndrewsINTV. If you're looking for a community that offers tools, support, and advice to start your own adventures in writing, then prepare to have the cauldron of your imagination stirred. I started the Eat Sleep Write podcast so more people could understand what it's like to be a writer, and to get more eyes on your books. My goal is to help writers and authors achieve the success they so richly deserve. I salute their success in writing.
Thank you for listening to another edition of the Eat Sleep Write podcast, located at eatsleepwrite.net. Please send any questions, comments or suggestions to comments@eatsleepwrite.net. Please consider a donation to support the Eat Sleep Write podcast. Donations can be sent to our PayPal address at donations@eatsleepright.net. Once in a lifetime, the theme music for the Eat Sleep Right podcast, courtesy of Stephen Paul, all rights reserved, used by permission. Please join us again for the next edition of the Eat Sleep Right podcast.